Hello, my name is Gabrielle McHugh, and my project used the research from Ting Xu, a scientist at UC Berkeley. He used enzymes described as polymer-eating enzymes to attempt making a plastic that would have the ability to decompose in just a few days or hours. The idea of polymer-eating enzymes is to embed enzymes like lipase into plastic as it is made, but to be sure that the plastic does not decompose during use, enzymes are wrapped in a polymer, which is a chemical compound that is made of small molecules that are arranged in a simple repeating structure to form a larger molecule. When exposed to heat of about 70 degrees Celsius and/or water at this temperature, the enzyme should disregard the polymer wrapping and be released to begin decomposition. Although climate change and global warming are increasingly more prominent issues in today's world, unfortunately, people still refuse to recognize the seriousness of these situations and the rapid speed in which they progress. And this project was an attempt to help in the search for solutions to climate change and global warming. And what I did to test lipase's ability to decompose plastic was I took glass vials and added different amounts of lipase enzyme mixed with 30 milliliters of distilled water and 4 polymer balls into different vials. I weighed each vial empty and recorded this way, and then I recorded their weight once I added the amount of lipase mixture and how much of the mixture I put into each specific vial. For example, whether I put 1 milliliter or half a milliliter or something different. I then placed the vials on hot plates and recorded how long they stayed on, which was usually an hour, and for what temperature. When I took them off and they cooled, I re-recorded their weights, and while I did see some decreases in the vials' weights, this may have been a product of human error, because if the plastics were to have decomposed, the matter would still have been in the vial, because the mass could not have simply vanished. This causes me to think that some of the water vapor may have escaped from the lids during the heating, and this is ultimately what caused the weight decrease. Other than altering the amount of lipase and water mixture placed in the vials, in terms of milliliters, or half a milliliter, or a different measurement, I also attempted to take another bottle of lipase and add only 10 milliliters of distilled water with the same amount of lipase rather than 30 milliliters of distilled water that was in the mix with the initial bottle of lipase. I ran the same test with new vials using the 10 milliliter mixture and copying the amounts of lipase water that I tried with the lipase bottle containing 30 milliliters of water, and placing 4 polymer balls in each again. Although I had much less time to test and observe the vials containing the lipase and 10 milliliters of water mixture, in conclusion, I would say that there was no substantial difference between using lipase with 30 milliliters of water versus using lipase with 10 milliliters of water. However, in the end, the last vials that I tested did lose the most weight, and these were the ones with 10 milliliters. But again, as I stated before, mass loss most likely was due to human error and escaping vapor while the vial sat on the hot plates, because the polymer matter could not have simply disappeared. The vial that did show the most significant result of all was vial number 3 from the beginning, as one of the 4 polymer balls appeared to have dissolved somewhat. This is something that I think if I were to continue this project, I think that this would be important to circle back to and examine. The target audience for this would be the entirety of the world, as plastic is a substance used in day-to-day life. And if given the opportunity to continue this project, I think I would need to get in touch with people more knowledgeable in these areas of science for help and for access to different technologies to help the process. And if possible, I would even try to reach out to Ting Xu. The motivation to attempt this project was to contribute to helping the environment and decreasing plastic pollution, as a plastic with this capability could be used in place of standard plastics that take hundreds or thousands of years to decompose. And while for my project, results observed ultimately were not clear, I think that with the help of those who I stated before, this project could possibly have the ability to make some positive progress.